Way more people are starting to play Dracotail, and it's no surprise, it's just a lot, like, way more fun than Yummy or Vanquished K9. Don't even get me started on that deck. I just hate that deck, not even to play against it or something, I just don't like playing it. But that is not the topic of today's video. Today I want to discuss the future of one of my current favorite decks, which is Dracotail. There are currently two good options to play, which is Pure, which I do favor a lot, and Dragonmaid. And what exactly is the difference between those two? Well, Pure aims to follow a simple game plan. Just get 1 or 2 fusions to the field and control the game with your traps, with 5 mana in hand and hand traps. It's nothing flashy, but still requires a lot of skill to maneuver through the opponent's interactions or plays. While the Dragonmaid variant does a similar thing but different. You kinda have to cut down on the non-engine, because you have to play a lot of Dragonmaid stuff depending on how big the package you actually want in the deck is. For example, this package is kinda small, it's basically like at the least stuff you have to play, and it aims to normal summon the Dragonmaid stuff to get access to Chamber or Changeover, I mean, which gives you basically a fusion to utilize your Dracotails in hand. And even if you do not open up any Dracotail monsters, you can still, just by normal summoning Parlor, end on like 3 to 4 interruptions, which is really strong. My problem with that specific variant is that the Dragonmaid stuff aren't actually bridging into Dracotail. Like, yes, you do get a good endboard by just normal summoning a Chamber or a Parlor, but it's not a Dracotail endboard. So, while they have synergies, for example, you can fuse the Big Dragon for your Dracotail stuff or for Philia Regis, or you can just use the Big Dragon and any high-level Dracotail monster to immediately go into the Omni-Negate. There are synergies, but there are also downsides, because you also have to play tidying, in my opinion, to make the package worthwhile, and it's 3 traps, and if you play Dracotail, you know that already playing 2, if you sometimes draw them, it's just dog shit. And you have to play the Big Dragon, which necessarily isn't really that good in hand. While this variant gives you more plays, not necessarily Dracotail plays, but you have more plays in the Dragonmaid stuff, and its ceiling is a lot higher, in my opinion, it's not better than Pure. But what if I tell you that there's actually a third variant that is on the horizon, I would say, that maybe is way better than both combined? I'm of course talking about the Magistus cards, which some of them are actually in Battles of Legends, but the most important stuff, which is the new fusion and Spoon, the Seal of Magistus, are yet to come out in the TCG. In my opinion, they will either release in the tins, which is not likely, or which is more likely, in my opinion, in Doom of Dimensions as an import. And those cards are actually crazy in Dracotail. Since unlike the Dragonmaid stuff, one Spoon, the Seal of Magistus, actually gives you Dracotail combo. But how exactly does it do that? Well, way better than to talk about it is to show you that. You activate Spoon, you can discard it to add a Magistus monster to the hand. And then you add Zorua. You normal summon Zorua, activate Zorua's effect to equip itself with any random Magistus card that isn't really important for the combo otherwise, and then you will trigger Zorua to special summon a level 4 spellcaster. Important, you can special summon Lucius, but its effects are negated anyway, so it doesn't really matter at all. Zorua is a tuner, which means you can go into the Zorua Synchro Monster, which will trigger its effect to equip itself with a Magistus card, and now you will equip it with Artemis. And you can activate Artemis effect to add Crowley the Gifted of Magistus from the deck to your hand, which is basically Poplar. If it's added except for by drawing it, you can special summon it, and on special summon you can basically fuse it with any monster in your hand or your control, but you have to go into a Magistus or invoked fusion basically. Now you activate the effect of Crowley and you go into invoked Magistus Omega by using both monsters on the field as material. Now it's important, that card is basically removal, but it's better and more utilized going second. If you go first and you have to go through that combo, do not activate that card, because you will just banish itself, it's not worth it. Now you activate Synchro Zorua's effect in the graveyard to target invoked Magistus Omega, to destroy it and to special summon the Synchro monster. Now Omega will trigger. If it's destroyed, you can special summon a spellcaster from the deck to the field, which gives you Lucius, And now you can, if you want to, equip Zorua, not Zorua, equip the monster you special summoned with Omega, which you don't really have to do, but you can do that. And from there on, you can just activate Lucius, grab 5 mana, and yes, it's a 1.5 combo because you need a monster in hand, but bro, that will always happen, trust me. A nice thing you can do is, Spoon has more effects. You can banish it from the graveyard to target a monster you control and to equip it with a Magistus monster in the graveyard or from the extra deck. You can, for example, just equip it with Artemis again, and that card is actually a floodgate. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects from monsters that have the same type as Magistus cards in your spell and trap zone, which means now they can't activate link monsters, which is, if you play against Yami, maybe a consideration to go into, like maybe. The second thing you can do to even beat Retaliating Sea is to now go into Snake Eyes Doomed Dragon. You go into Doomed Dragon and then you can overlay into Photon Lord. I don't play that in this specific variant because I have yet to see how worth that actually is. But yeah, it's something you can think of and maybe it's optimal, let's see. I play Snake Eyes Doomed Dragon in this version because it has some utilization regardless of rank 8 plays, or not rank 8 plays, but Photon Lord. And I will show you that in a minute. Just to give you an idea why that engine might be worth it in Dracotail. It basically gives you 3 more 1.5 card combos, which is really crazy, and it gives you an additional way to fuse with Crowley. But how exactly? I mean, I said that Crowley can only fuse into Magistus or invoked monsters, right? Well, there are some nice targets for that, but I believe the best is Ivas, the Magistus Space Spirit. It's basically, to cut things short, a quick effect. Equip itself to a monster on the field and then you can take control of that monster. So basically quick effect Snatch Steal, quite literally. And it needs a Magistus monster plus 1 spellcaster monster, which means if, for example, let's say you have Spoon in hand and Lucius. You normal summon Lucius and the opponent imperms Lucius. Now you can activate Spoon to grab Crowley. Crowley will now trigger and special summon itself, allowing you to fuse with Lucius to get a good interruption to the field in form of Ivas. And Lucius will trigger to get you K2, Rahu, basically whatever you want. It's very good, and I specifically built the deck so that it feels similar as to how it plays right now. That's why I opt to still play 17 hand traps. Like, the hand trap ratio didn't really change that much, because I like how it feels, I like how it plays currently, and I do not want to ruin that by just putting or filling the stuff with engine that you don't really need. Still, the engine has some downsides. If you draw Spoon and Crowley, you can't do the combo I just showed you a minute ago. But there are other options, and for you to just open Spoon and Crowley and nothing else, you have to be extremely unlucky. Even if you draw Crowley, it's a normal summon that can be good sometimes since you have a fusion target, and if you have to fuse it away and add it back with Dracotail Athalion, it will actually trigger its effect to special summon itself. So it has some utilization even if you draw it. Just in this specific case, if you open Spoon and Crowley and no other play, it can be awkward. Zorua, on the other hand, on its own, is actually quite a nice normal summon. It does a lot, it gives you grind game, it puts pressure to the opponent, it's fine. But what exactly do you do when you open Spoon and Crowley and nothing else? You activate Spoon to grab Zorua, and then you normal summon Zorua, activate its ignition effect, and one nice thing about the Xyz card is that it's actually a spell trap pop if you go second. You can pair ignition target that card and a spell trap your opponent controls to destroy both. It's kinda like Engraver, just like a little bonus extra added to it. And after it's equipped with a Magistus card, you activate its effect to special summon Spoon from the graveyard. Synchro into the Sora Synchro monster, activate its effect to equip itself with Artemis. And now you activate Spoon, equipping Zora again with Nina Ruru. And you can activate Artemis to grab just something for the grind game, something to fuse off, just an extra monster body. Dracotail will never say no to that. But what exactly are we doing right now? Simple, we go into Snake Eyes Doomed Dragon and then we go into Zombie Vampire to mill 4 cards and to special summon a monster milled by that effect, which in my case is Lucius, for example. You basically have 6 normal summon targets or special summon targets with Zombie Vampire, which is Lucius and Mululu. If you have 5 mana and any other monster card in hand, for example, any Dracotail name will be good right here, since then you have immediately a target for 5 mana. It's pretty good, and so far I haven't found any other resolution to if you draw Crowley with Spoon. If you are a Magistus god and you have a line, please tell us in the comments, I would love to know that. But so far, I don't see a way if you only open Spoon and Crowley to still bridge by any other means into the Dracotail stuff. But that is just in theory. Like I mentioned, in order for you to do that, you have to open Spoon, Crowley and nothing else. No spell, no Rahu, no nothing. So maybe in 10 out of 10 duels that will like never happen. But probability in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is dangerous, so if we have the extra deck space, why not put that option right here into the deck? But they even have a lot more utility than you probably think. What if you already have play in form of Ketu or Rahu, 5 mana and the Dracotail name, but you also open Spoon? If you don't need your normal summon, you can activate Spoon, grab Zorora, normal summon Zorora, activate its effect, equip itself with the Xyz effect, special summon a Spoon from the graveyard to the field. Now you link into the Synchro Monster. That line is basically up to that point always the same. You equip itself with Artemis, effect, grab Crowley. Crowley effect, special summon itself to the field, and now you will have the ability to go into fusion. You are playing way more than just one fusion, you are playing the other target, I explained already why that is in the deck, and you play a Zorora fusion monster. Bro, Zorora is probably very famous in the Magistus lore. It just needs a Magistus monster and basically an extra deck card, like Xyz, Fusion and Link monster. And what that card is a monster negate. It has an ignition effect that you can target a monster your opponent controls or in your graveyard, and then you can equip itself with that monster. If your opponent activates a monster effect, you can negate that card if you send a face-up Magistus card you control to the graveyard, which can be himself or an equip card basically. And then, on top of that, it has a similar effect like Varudres. You can, after you negated a monster card, non-target destroy a card your opponent controls. It's very good and beats Retaliating Sea. Since you can now go into, if you have play already, into your Dracotail stuff. Grab 5 mana effect, fuse into Athalion, you get the drill. You basically have everything from there on out, plus basically a monster negate, and you have good grind game. Since if the opponent basically beats your board, he plays into it, he is low on resources, maybe he has a vanilla monster on the field, like you get what I'm saying. If he has to use all of his resources to put a scratch onto your board, you can activate in the following turn Spoon to equip any monster you control with a Magistus monster card in your graveyard. And yes, you can even equip Artemis effect again, so you just have a lot more fusion fodder. But the Zorora destroy effect to special summon itself is once per turn, and you can even target an equip card. So you have a level 8 body that is a pretty big beatstick and a floodgate basically every turn as long as you have Spoon in rotation. I really like the deck, and I have tested every version. I like the Dragonmaid version, I just prefer the pure version. But the only deck or variant where I say confidently it's a step above the pure and Dragonmaid is exactly Magistus. A new way to fuse, an extender if you normal summon, for example, Lucius gets stopped in form of Crowley and Ivas, a monster negate before you even start your plays. It's very good. But yeah, let me know what you think about that version. Do you prefer that over the pure version? Do you believe Dragonmaid is better? Just let me know everything. Until the next time, see ya.